Did you know your readers are thinking about your book long before they ever think about buying it? But they're not thinking about it the way we often think they are. We tend to think of our readers as standing in a bookstore, looking at our books, wondering, is this for me? Or do I really want to spend money on another book this month? I know that's what I ask when I pick up a book at Barnes and Noble, or I see an ad for a new to me book on Amazon, or even when I hear about a new book on a podcast. But before I even get that far, I've been quietly thinking things like, does anybody understand how I'm struggling this season? Does anybody really get what I'm carrying right now? And does anybody have a way to help me today, not someday? So that's why I wanted to start a new 3-part mini-series called Get Inside Your Readers' Heads. Because if you can step into how your readers are thinking, you're going to be able to plan content and share your message in a clearer way that shows how you can help them. So we're going to learn to read the room so we can plan content that feels timely, helpful, and shareable. So in this 3-part series, we're going to talk about second quarter so you can plan ahead for April, May, and June because those months stir up very different emotions than what happened in January or February or March. So, coming up in the second quarter, we have Easter, spring, Mother's Day, graduations, weddings, Father's Day, and the beginning of summer. And all that shapes what we're thinking, feeling, and needing in that season, right? And if we're needing these things, then probably our readers do too. So if you want to build trust now, we have to intentionally enter the conversations that they're having already, right? Either that's the conversations in their own heads, or it's the conversations they're sharing with friends over a good cup of coffee. Now, this isn't just marketing talk. It's about showing your readers you really care. That's why you wrote the book in the first place, right? And that starts with reading the room you're serving them in, whether that's as a podcast guest or a host. So marketing is just letting people know you can help them, and that starts long before your book is out. So something that's helped me really simplify things for myself and other authors is my reach, relate, remember framework. So how are you reaching readers? How are you relating to their struggles? And how are they remembering you or your book as the resource they need? And we're going to dig into that framework some more soon. But for today, we're reaching readers on podcast. So now let's talk about how to relate to them with the content we share. So often, we come up with our episode topics and then we have a few talking points to support those topics, right? But it's what we put into those talking points that really is going to make a difference to help move your listener closer to being a book buyer and book reader and book talker, right? We want them sharing the book with other people. So if you're hosting your own podcast, likely you already know your niche of listeners really well. So it's a little bit easier to read the room and talk to their struggles. But when you're guesting on podcast, you don't always know exactly who's listening. You don't know their faith background, their exact struggles right now, or the season of life they're in, right? Unless, of course, it's a super niche podcast, which I feel like are very rare these days. So how can we make all of your listeners feel seen and heard? Well, whether you're hosting or guesting, I want you to think about this simple 3S method for your talking points. And it's struggle, support, showing up. So first, struggle. What personal struggle is my target reader carrying this quarter? And that's, usually where all of our content hits, right? Secondly is support. How is my reader trying to support their loved ones through this struggle? So the listeners you're serving, they may not be struggling with this themselves right now, but they love somebody who is. And then third, showing up. How is my reader showing up for friends, coworkers, or those they serve through this struggle? So again, they may not be having the struggle today, but they know somebody who is, or serve people that struggle with this. So we want to always be thinking struggle, support, showing up. And when you plan your talking points through this lens, you're not going to be just choosing topics to talk about and, scratching your head going, oh, what am I going to talk about, on a podcast? You're putting your readers' real life needs first, just like your book does, or it will do when you finish it if you're like me. Instead of leading only, though, with your book topic, you can speak to what people are likely carrying right now and share how your God given message helps them through it. Because that's how people start to remember you. And even if they're not ready to buy your book yet or not ready to join your email list, right? They might be ready to share your podcast as a resource with someone else. But we have to make it as easy as possible on them, and we can do that through your episodes. So when your episode speaks clearly to what your target reader is going through right now, then your message and, of course, hopefully your book becomes useful to them right now. And it becomes the thing that, they hear and they immediately send it to a friend and say, this really helped me and I think it will help you too. This is what I do all the time with my girlfriends. It's like, hey, remember what we were talking about over coffee? Well, this podcast just covered it. So you need to listen, right? Or sometimes it's a book, right? This book helped me. It'll help you too. Sometimes it's the before that really gets them. So that's what gets readers excited to not only read your book, but share it. That's what gets readers excited, right? To not only listen to your podcast, join your email list, read your book, but also share it. And it happens long before anybody starts thinking, should I buy this book? So to do this, we want to plan episode content that speaks to our readers right now, but we don't want to blow up all of our podcast plans. So even if you've already batched your weekly episodes or you've pitched guest topics, do not worry. You don't have to scrap anything because throughout this series, we're going to talk about how you can add in pop-up bonus episodes on your own show, or you could add in seasonal talking points when you're being interviewed as a guest, and how you can create a short private podcast reader magnet if you want, because there's multiple ways to serve your readers through their struggles this quarter. You just have to find out what works best for you. But no matter what, we want our God-given messages to become one that our readers can use and share this quarter. So that's a glimpse into what's ahead in this 3-part series. We're going to stop guessing what our readers need to hear, and instead we're going to step inside their heads, we're going to read the room we're in, and we're going to plan content that meets them right where they are. So first up is April, a month that looks like fresh starts and blooming flowers, but it often feels more like tired sighs and unfinished goals. Oh, goodness. Can anybody else relate to that? So in the next episode, we're going to look at what your readers are likely carrying in April, and I'll give you some episode ideas you can actually use, whether you're hosting or guesting. Thanks for tuning into Book Marketing Mania. And as always, I'll be there for you next episode to help you reach and serve your readers one podcast at a time. See you then.